Hey, it's Matt Pinfield. This is KLOS, new and approved, and I've got the unbelievable David Gilmour, who's releasing his fifth album, Luck and Strange. David, good to see you. Last time I interviewed you was backstage at Live 8, the day of the last show with Rick Wright, which was just amazing, by the way. And you were so kind and cool, and I really enjoyed the interview, so it's great to see you again.
Well, thank you, Matt. Terrific. Yeah, that was quite a day.
It was an unbelievable day.
19 years ago. Wow.
It's amazing it's 19 years, and it was the one band I made sure that I could see after all the other work that I did that day. I came out for that, right out in the
Good.
front. It was beautiful. Hey, so David, let's talk about this new album, your fifth
Yeah.
record, Luck and Strange. You know, I've heard you say that, there's conceptually, it was just kind of thinking about the fact that baby boomers, and because it was such an unbelievable thing, creative period for people that came out of the UK, like yourself, who it just this boom of incredible creativity that was born out of the post World War II. Talk to me about that.
Well, I suppose that is the subject in one of the songs, particularly "Luck and Strange," but it's more a question. It's a broader thing than just the music. It's the music, the arts, the politics, everything of those years of the '60s, '70s, I guess, for the baby boomers right after the war. And we thought that there were movements by young people, you might call them kind of hippies, I suppose, these days, um, who had an idea of how the world could be a better place. How in England, certainly our Prime Minister at the time, Harold Macmillan, said, "You've never had it so good." It certainly felt that way. As you say, the music was all sorts of new things happening. It felt amazing. I I'm not sure that I could say that it feels quite amazing. Maybe it's just me, but at the
It's
moment,
not.
and maybe musically, politically, all those artistically, maybe the world is in a slightly darker place in some people's views, I guess. And I guess that song, "Luck and Strange," is addressing that as a question. Do we think that was the great time, or is this the great time? Maybe not. Is it cyclical? Do these things go up and down? Um, are we deluding ourselves?
Yeah. It's. I think it's great. I mean, I love that about the title track. Now you've been writing and working with Polly now for it's about 30 years. So
Yeah.
talk to me about when you were deciding it's a time to make another album right now, and to start working on songs. How long were you working on the structure of some of the songs? I know that with Piper's Call you worked with a ukulele, which was cool to write.
Yeah.
But talk to me about the process.
I mean, it's a messy process with me, things, and a long process. Some of these things date back years. The chorus of one of the songs is something that I wrote when my son, who's now 29, was 2, so 1997. And the Piper's Call with as you mentioned, written on the ukulele, was some of that is 6 or 7 years old. Some of them, like Dark and Velvet Nights, are brand new. Other ones are brand new. Scattered is pretty brand new. Um, and we were working fairly casually. I was working fairly casually, just going into my studio whenever I felt like it, working a bit on things. And at some point, I suppose a year and a half ago, maybe more, we're not quite sure, Polly and I thought this is actually slowly making progress. This does look like we're onto something, a new project. So let's tie that down a bit. And we sort of moved into a little house in London, a tiny house with basically a tiny room with a studio thing which we popped into there, and a room for Polly to write in. And we just worked 5-day weeks, more or less 9 to 5, putting this all into some sort of shape. And then by later last year, by I guess September or something, we decided we wanted to start booking studio time, musicians, and making the whole thing a little more concrete. And we needed to get a producer.
Yeah.
And I had difficulty working out which guy or woman, whoever, might be the best candidate for this job. And Polly set about hunting down online music and listening and asking me to listen to music from that different producers had worked on. And she first and then me, we both liked this band Alt J,
Yes.
British band, and we loved the production on their records. And that's the guy we called up.
Charlie Andrew, right? So tell me, that's great because Yelche, the thing is that they are also a band that has really interesting, challenging songs and structures and doing their thing. So how was Charlie familiar with all your work, and was he a fan when you first met him?
Neither of those things.
It's amazing,
He's come from a different whole area of life and of music, and some of those things have passed him by. I guess they were already way in the past as far as a young producer, musician guy was concerned. No, he didn't really know who I was, didn't know much about Pink Floyd. Obviously, it's hard to have not heard the name and to know that it's done a few things.
Yes.
But he wasn't entrenched in it, and that was an extremely good thing. He came down to the house, he listened to the music, he loved what we were doing, he loved the work we were doing, and he said yes, he wanted to work on it. But he had he didn't hold back in his opinions, and he's quite forceful, saying how we should approach things, how we should do things, and it's refreshing. It's great. There are some sort of catch your breath moments when you go, really? Did he say
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Overall, I'm so thrilled with the work, that he has put in. I'm so thrilled with the team that he has helped to put together, that has made the making of this album such a joy.
Yeah.
And so fulfilling.
I think it's great because and tell me about when you guys did the orchestral arrangements. It was kind of cool. It was cool. It was like an avant-garde. There was a lot of stuff going. Where did you end up doing that, David? I mean, having worked at Abbey Road and places like that all the years, where did you actually do those string arrangements?
String arrangements we did in a studio which actually belongs to Abbey Road, but is in North London. It's called Angel, because it's near a place in London called Islington, where the main street corner is called the Angel, Islington, and this studio's called that.
Yeah, it sounded great. I mean, and I like the thing with the instruments kind of playing against each other, and just some of the interesting stuff that was happening there.
Yeah, and some lovely stuff in there.
Yeah, tell me about "Yes, I Have Ghosts" because that's a song that I wanted to talk to you about.
Well, Yes, I Have Ghosts is a song that we've put on here as an extra because it hasn't been out as an album before, on an album before, and was written in connection with Polly's book, A Theatre for Dreamers, which came out in March 2020, coincidentally, the same week as lockdown happened.
Yeah.
And she wrote a book about a bunch of people, artists who lived for a while on the Greek island of Hydra. And one of the people that was there was Leonard Cohen. And she wrote a novel about those people, but they were real people, and a lot of the events were real events. So that was a song that we wrote to be part of the promotion for her book. But unfortunately, when lockdown happened, the literary promotion events that she was going to take part in were all cancelled. But our son Charlie said, "Hey, just do some live streams." So we gathered together in our barn, which is where I am right now. Doesn't look quite like a barn because of a red backdrop, but if I turn the camera around, you'd see. Hang on. Let's see if I can make it. See, look.
Yeah.
It's a bit dark. You can't really
It
see.
looks cool. It looks great there.
Beams and stuff. Anyway, it is. Hang on. Try and put this all back together. I'm a professional engineer here.
Yeah. That's great.
There we are. So yeah, so we basically connected a computer to the air, to what do you call it, into the internet, up into the ether, and sat around in front of a little cafe backdrop that we'd prepared for these other shows that were going to be going on, and talked about Polly's book, and answered questions from people online, and I would sing a song or two. I was usually doing the relevant ones, which would have been Leonard Cohen covers in the first few of these things. And my daughter Romany, who was learning the harp, would play the harp and would sing the harmonies with me. And it's that moment. We loved it so much, the first one we did, that we just kept doing it every week, every Thursday night.
Yeah.
We were in here, and we would literally forget that what we were doing was going anywhere. We thought it was just us sitting around chatting and doing these things. And I'm afraid, we kind of lost track of the fact there were quite a lot of people out there watching, and we were sloshing back the glasses of wine and being kind of merry.
Yeah, having a good time. I think it's great getting to perform with your family like that. And you know what I mean? It must have been a great feeling harmonizing with your daughter while she's doing the harp. And obviously you and probably being fans of Leonard Cohen's songs, you know what I mean? It must have been just a great feeling. David, when you come out and play, it's going to be great. I had to ask you this because, I did A&R and, I've done a lot of different things, but I've seen a lot of artists that are so influenced by your guitar playing, your guitar tone, your guitar style. Have you come across and seen some of these artists or like heard things and go, wow, that sounds like some of the stuff that I've created, and it's certainly your own, I always wanted to ask you that.
I hear in some guitarists, in some guitar playing, what I maybe arrogantly think has been influenced by me. I hope some influence has been brought to bear. But every set of fingers sounds different. And believe it or not, the guitars, the amps, the effects pedals, all those things are subsidiary to the fingers. And they do the work and they do the talking, and they are what creates the sound. I've said before, I could walk into any sort of music shop, pick up a guitar, plug it into an amp, and it would sound like me. I'm extremely fortunate that way. I'm lucky, I guess, that I just sound like me, and I'm very, very happy that other people like it enough to try and pick a few tips out of it.
Yeah, it's just great when I've seen, and heard people do that. I absolutely love it because we love your playing and your songwriting. So I'm excited you're going on tour. This is going to be great. Are you when it comes time to decide songs for the show with your catalog, how do you break that down, David, and decide what songs you're going to perform?
Well, I start with the new album and see how much of it where I'm going to put it. Am I going to do it as one? I mean, in the old Pink Floyd days, we often used to do the new album as the first half and the previous album as the second half. Well, I'm not being quite as prescriptive as that. I'm going to do a couple of chunks of this new album here and there, and a bunch of other songs from my solo work and a few from my Pink Floyd days from, I think they'll cover from 69 to 94.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Yeah.
In through all those lovely years of the work we've done.
Absolutely beautiful stuff.
And I haven't, that's not yet set in stone. I haven't started the rehearsals yet. I'm actually starting rehearsing on Monday. But I've got a list of songs, and I have an order that is the very first rough put together.
We can't wait to see it. I'm so excited about you coming to California. I just it'll be so great to see you again, David. I mean, we're all really excited out here, and we're really loving and enjoying the new record. I mean, Luck and Strange. So, thanks for for coming out with new material. We've needed it. You know what I mean? Some great stuff. So, really, I really appreciate you taking the time today, David, to talk about the new record. And
it's my pleasure.
Really looking forward to seeing you again. Again, you were so kind to me the first time I interviewed you, and that always stuck with me, and I appreciate it, besides being a massive fan. So thank you so much, David. Have a great day, and again, we'll see you on the road, and we're very excited about the release of this new 5th album. So I've done a few other albums, Matt, apart from the 5 solo ones. Yeah, those are amazing records, by the way. I just want to tell you. We love those. We really do. And they have such staying power, and that's the important thing, too. It's just they resonate and find new fans every single year, which is a beautiful thing. So thank you for that. Thanks for all those gifts of music. It's going to be great. All right, David, and we'll see you when you get to California. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Matt. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. David Gilmour, everyone. It's KLOS. I'm Matt Pinfield, and I'll be back with you soon.